thank you everybody for joining this month's November club meeting. We have a very tight agenda today, so this is what we're gonna go through today. There will be a 10-minute introduction and game, of course, and then we'll go through the officer announcement. We have this much to announce, so yeah, we'll kind of need to control today's time better. And then Heather Olsen will give us some demo about the painting a butterfly with oil. And then at the end of the meeting, we will wrap up with the competition winner announcement. So today's game is called Bingo. Does everyone play Bingo before?
Sure.
Yes, yes.
Good. Okay. So the Bingo game, what we're gonna do is, let me share this link with you guys, and then you can download a copy of this in your computer. Let me share in the chat.
That's cute.
If you can open it and then download a copy from Google Drive, make a copy into your computer, and then you can pick either one of the bingo card here. The arrangement is a little bit different, and then this is the brush you're gonna use. So instead of using a pen, you can copy and paste the picture to here.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can put a palette and paintbrush when somebody said art, or when somebody says Sunnyvale, you can put the icon here. So that is how the marker works. This is a free game. You're free to join, or if you want to focus on the meeting, that's completely fine. It's just something that we all can pay attention to what people are talking. And then if somebody get 5 of this line, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, you can say bingo. Any questions? I hope it's not too complicated.
I don't know how to copy it.
You can download. If you click on the link I share in the chat, there is a file, make a copy, entire presentation.
Well, every time
And then you can save it your laptop, your desktop.
Oh, okay.
Just press OK.
Yeah. So I just made a copy that I can edit it. You might not be able to, because I need to keep a copy for the meeting. All good? Any question regarding to bingo game?
How do I mark it again?
You copy the marker here and paste. And when somebody mention art, you put an icon here. When somebody say Sunnyvale, you put a marker here. When somebody mention group, you put a marker here. And when you get 5 horizontally or vertical, you get bingo.
Oh. Maybe let the artist know, you know, that if somebody's saying bingo, so that she doesn't look surprised. She may be wondering why we're saying bingo during her demonstration, so let her know.
I'll let her know. And one way you can trick is you can ask questions. So how do you capture light and shadow if you're missing one light here? So if you got color drawing volunteer show, but you don't have light, you can just ask a question with the keywords in here. Then you got your own bingo. That's the trick. So that's what we're gonna play throughout the meeting. And then I would like to share some of the useful resources. So Angelo helped us make Angelo is the administration of a public page, Facebook private page. This is where we have the monthly competition, if you have not known yet. And then we have a wonderful webpage showcase everybody's artwork. Sangeeta is helping us to maintain this. And we have YouTube channel that you can subscribe. Whenever we have a meeting, we will record it, upload into YouTube. If you miss some section or demo, you can feel free to come back here and watch. And then we have art club Instagram that is coming. We are able to recruit a volunteer, help us to set it up, but probably not this year because it's end of the year, everybody's kind of busy. So we'll see if we can start next January. We'll share the Instagram and then everybody can start following. Wei Wei, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Would you like to share a treasure report from your laptop?
Okay, I hope everybody can see right there.
Right. Good.
Okay, anyway, from the end of the September to October, end of the October, we did not do there's no, transaction activity in the bank. So the balance stays the same. And then we moved to a couple of days ago, I look at it for November 16. We have the balance, kind of shorted. And the reason for that is I break down right here, the income and the expenses, what will happening, for this 16 days, 2 weeks. Okay, we have a membership. I have received three of our members to renew their membership. So that is $25 for each for 2021. And so that is $75. And we got one donation from one of our member, that is $20. So all our income is $95. And also we have some expenses. That is including for the demo. Okay, that $200, each month, that is $100. And also we have some, time expenses for the events, that's $16.34. So total, that is $216.34. So, and including all this, and with plus and minus, and plus our petty cash, what I have in here in the pocket here. So total, what we have in the the club, that is $5,595.42. I think that's pretty much we have a pretty low activity for the end of the month. For the end of the year, but I guess for November and December we have some activity coming in. So I would like to ask all of you, if you have something would like to reimburse from the bank, from the club, just send me the email, and also maybe build up the form. I don't know if we have the reimbursement form in the club. If we do, then just fill out the form, attach, in the email, send to me. I will try to get back to you the refund and by end of the year. So that's why we will have very clear, the balance sheet by end of the this year. All right, that's pretty much. And also, maybe start from next year, we can collect some, membership fee, $25 for all of our members. So that will be having like a bunch of the money coming in for the band. For the club, and do more activities, I guess.
We will have the expense of
Yeah.
having our website. It'll be taken out of my credit card, and I'll let you know when it's taken out. It's usually 100 and something.
I couldn't hear you, Chris.
I'm going to be sending a bill shortly for the website. It's automatically comes out of my credit card and it gets paid. And I'll send you the amount when I get it. It's in 100.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
130
No
or something.
problem. Yeah. Once I receive it, I will let you know, and we can do. Maybe we will get some kind of the approval from the Angela.
No, you don't have to have approval. It's paid.
Oh, I think that is everything is less than $200. You don't really need to get approval or something like that. I can just
Well, it's an automatic charge every year to my credit card. So we have a website cost.
Okay. Okay, just let me know, what do you would like me to do with the refund. Okay, that's pretty much from the, the treasure, team, what we have in here. And I hope that can tell you very clear to tell you what the finance, in the club.
Thank you, Wei Wei. I think it's very clear.
Okay.
Really appreciate you stepping up.
Oh, no
helping
problem.
us.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Angelo, I'm gonna pass it to you to tell us about virtual library show.
Oh, I just want to thank everybody who participated. I think we had around 80 pieces of artwork and stuff. I think total we've had at least 400 views of our art and stuff, which is pretty cool. I think the only thing right now is we're waiting for the mayor to make his choice of his favorite art piece. But for everybody, just thank you and stuff, because we kind of did this on the fly. we weren't really sure what we were doing and stuff. But Aiden, the librarian, I want to thank her as well and stuff. But because it was, she was thinking that since we had to cancel our November in-building show and stuff, she wanted to figure out some way of still having us do an art show and to show our art. So maybe we can do something to help, to thank Aiden for her role. But yeah, I think, but all of you, from all the comments I've seen, everybody seems to have loved the show, and they love the diversity of the artwork that's in the show, and that's kind of a reflection on you guys and all the diverse artwork that you guys do. So thank you all very much, and you guys have received a lot of praise for your work and stuff. So thank you. So yeah, I think that's it. I think the mayor thing is what we're waiting for. So we'll cross our fingers and see. I think somebody said something. I interrupted somebody, but
oh, I was just thanking you. It's Andrea. I'm having problems with my video, but I am here. Thank you for all your hard work.
Oh yeah, I was like, I think it was the same thing with like Aiden. We were just kind of making it up as we go along. So
and we all are. Don't worry.
But I think Chris sent something of the Cupertino. I guess they had a virtual art show as well and stuff. And they did a lot of cool stuff that, if we do another virtual show, I'm going to incorporate some of their ideas into whatever, if we decide next year to do another virtual show. So, but thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Angelo, for putting our work together. I know you spend a lot of time editing the video and also the album. So really appreciate you, all your support.
Thank you.
Yeah. And membership, Shaheen or anyone?
Okay. For 2020, I think on the record, we have 46 registered members. And we have started to accepting the new registration for 2021. As Wei Wei just mentioned, right now we already have 3 members renewed their membership. So here I would like to welcome everybody, just start mailing in the form and the money. So yeah, and hopefully this year we can double the members in our club.
Thank you, Yuan, for the great news. And thank you for working hard to pull everybody back. Yeah, we stopped the meeting for a while, so I'm surprised we still have 46 members.
Yeah, I think with the 46, probably it doesn't worthwhile all the work, right? Just I think mailing in the check, although you can register online, but you still have to mail in the check. So why not bother, just to do that altogether.
And the next one will be public venue. For those who are new to the club, we have a public venue. We can display our art, and you can sign up for all these venues here. Chris, would you like to share something regarding to this?
Sure. One of the things that's happened is, Red Rock, we put some pictures upstairs again, and now they never opened the upstairs. So nobody's going to be putting anything new there. And the people that are there right now are Andrea, Donna, and Debbie. And she's probably going to move your work downstairs for a little while, and she'll let you know when she takes it down, or she'll let me know. And the other venues we still have, we have the we have the mayor's office, we have the Vietnamese restaurant, we have the Cupertino Physical Therapy, and the other thing is that if one of the people that are showing from December and January, you need to be sure to pay your dues, because you won't be on our insurance policy if you don't pay your dues for, but in January. December is your fine, but January, because that's, and I have the letters ready, and if we're going to have our function on Saturday, I'll bring them to some people, and if not, I'll mail them to you. The people that are displaying are Gita, Andrea, Daniela, Angela, Jani, Neela, and Natasha.
Oh, thank you, Chris. And thank you for borrowing us your bench for the group project again.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we can switch gear to the group art projects. Mary, would you like to talk about it?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. We started the postcard project last month, and it's going along okay. It's a little bit slower than I thought it would be, but I'm impatient. So it's coming along, and we did lose one postcard. I will take full responsibility for that. Reading is fundamental. I understand now. And so who better than me to screw it up, right? So we have these 3 postcards. We might have a 4th replacement. Katiki said she would try to mail it out today. I'm not pressuring her because she has other things to deal with that are way more important. So that's going along. And we just started today. I put the blank greeting cards in plastic bags on Chris's front porch. Thank you, Chris. And a sign-up sheet so that people can go and pick up a card and create their own artwork on the front of the card and sign it because it's your artwork, and then leave it blank on the inside. I'm printing out inserts specific to each of the recipients to thank them for their help in the last year and showing our gratitude for the opportunities that they've given us. It should buy us a little bit of street cred, as well as some positive feedback from the vendors if we've been naughty or sloppy or forgetful or whatever. So, trying to Band-Aid over any mistakes that we made throughout the year. So when you're finished making your art, or even before you make your art, doesn't matter, turn it over to the very back of the card where you normally would see Hallmark and a huge price. You're going to, in the middle of the back of the card, write a small blurb about yourself as the artist and something about the artwork on the front, the title, and maybe your method, the medium that you used. Simple stuff, doesn't have to be a long dissertation, just a small little blurb to give more personal connection to the recipient so that they can see what's going on and kind of feel your vibe if you're really artsy fartsy. We're going to return those back in. We'll stick the greeting on the inside of the card and mail it out and try to get it out before the week of Christmas. I'm not sure when, well, I know when it is, but I'm not sure how many weeks, we have, and try to get that done before the end of the year. So right now we have 10 people that signed up and we have 11 recipients. So, we'll have a couple of extra cards, hopefully, that we can hang on to so that we can send them out in the first part of next year if the occasion comes up. In the future, we'll have a couple more projects coming up. Chris has brought up a project where we share, is that correct? We're going to share a, I don't know what I've got in my hand. We're going to share a reference photo, and each participant will take a square from the photo and create part of the picture separately so that when it's put together, we will have one cohesive project of the same reference. So, which can be a lot of fun, especially if people are using different mediums and mixing collage with watercolor and oil and acrylic and mashed potatoes, my favorite, to create
even your mashed potatoes.
Hey, when in doubt, use mashed potatoes. So that's coming up. Probably we're going to wait until January, till after the holidays and the new year, and so that people have time to do whatever they need to do. Another project brought up by Ish is that we're going to start creating some art trading cards, which are really cool. If you Google art trading cards, you'll get a million different websites where they explain what they are. They're trading cards, like baseball trading cards or whatever. They're your art, and each one can be, just do whatever kind of art. The size is specific. I think it's 3 inches by 2.5. I'm not quite exactly sure, but it's somewhere in that vicinity. They're very small. The art is original. Do anything from stitching with yarn to machine screws and metal. My sister received one from one of her artist friends who did one on porcelain and fired it, and it's really cool. And so they're very creative, and we're hoping that that'll be a success, and it doesn't have to stop in a month. It can go on forever. Just continue trading these art trading cards. So those are 2 projects that are coming up. So if people haven't been excited about the projects that we've had, at least we have a couple of them coming up. We're also going to do another jigsaw project. My husband has volunteered. He doesn't know it yet, but he's volunteered to cut jigsaw pieces for us. And he's very happy to do it, I'm sure. And and if he doesn't do it, I'll have to be the one that cuts them out. I have some pretty decent carpentry skills, and I can use a jigsaw fairly well. So that's going to be coming up also. So that's everything I have for now. And if anyone has any idea, please share them, because you don't want all, the same people coming up with the same ideas, because pretty soon, they start looking like the same ideas I came up last week. So,
Mary?
Yes.
You didn't say the deadline for these cards. You had December 8th to 10th?
December 11th to return the greeting cards. And they come back to Chris's porch, hopefully in the Ziploc bag or some other bag like it, to protect them from the elements.
So one more thing before we go into the demo. So we're planning for a year-end gathering. I know it's a bit complicated this year because of COVID. So if you can come, we're happy to see you. If you don't want to come, it's okay. It's scheduled November 21st, Saturday, 12 to 1 p.m. at the Bayland Park. So if you do come, wear a mask, keep 6 feet apart. It's a COVID protocol. And if you can bring an artwork to share with us and a blanket to sit, that will be perfect. I attached 2 pictures of where it is and where we're gonna meet. Around this area, it depends on if we can get a table. If we cannot get a table, we'll sit on the grass with a chair or blanket.
I went on to the website. I'm sorry. I went on to the website for Baylands, and the any picnic bench or sitting bench has been closed. So you're not allowed to sit. I don't think the bathrooms are over. The restrooms are opened either. So you're gonna have to go behind the bush. So or not.
Good to know. We'll use restroom before we come. Yes, and then the rest I will announce later. We have more agenda, but I know Heather is here and everybody can't wait to see her paint butterfly. Heather, are you ready yet?
Yeah, I'm on here. Sorry, I was on mute.
No worries. Thank you for joining us today. We're so happy to have you here. So Heather was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, and she is based in Utah now. So thanks to COVID that we can invite her virtually to our demo. And yeah, and I will share your Instagram and the website link with the club members so they can follow you or connect with you after the meeting. And whenever you're ready, we can start the demo.
Okay, perfect. So hopefully this setup is okay. I know it's going to be a little bit hard to see a lot of the details that I'm going to be painting in my butterfly. So I can do close-ups, you know, as we go. And then at the end, of course, I'll bring the painting close so you can see the detail too. When I was doing a practice one just to see how it would look on the Zoom. So this is the butterfly we're going to be painting, or I'm going to be painting. You guys can paint along if you want to, if you're ready to go. But as you can see, it's kind of hard to see a lot of those details. So yeah, it's great. But you know, if you want to see it up close, just let me know during the demo and I'll bring my computer up close. Otherwise, I'll just do it at the end. All right, so I paint a little bit of everything. I paint people, animals, landscapes, a little bit of everything. Butterflies are really fun because they're very colorful. So I really like to paint butterflies because they're great color practice. So if you're struggling with color, do a whole bunch of butterflies. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So my palette here, I know it's really small, hard to see, but I'll just kind of go through quickly the colors that I use. So titanium white, I usually start in this corner here, and I have my titanium whites as well as my versions of white. So I've got like a warm gray, I've got a greenish, a kind of a blue tint. So they're all like versions of the titanium white. And then here I've got, you know, my primary colors. So I've got two versions of yellow, yellow ochre, which is kind of like a neutral yellow, burnt sienna, my orange and reds. I've got a warm red and a cool red, my greens. And then I do have 3 different blues because blues, I feel like for me are very hard to mix. So I like to have them different variations out of the 2. So I've got like a turquoise, I've got a phthalo, which is like a greenish blue, and then I've got my ultramarine, which is kind of a warmer blue. And then I do have brown and black. I will try not to use those as much. I try to mix as much as I can, but sometimes, you know, it's good to just go straight into that. All right, so to go ahead and start, oh, and my medium, I use poppy oil for my medium. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to holler them out. I'm not going to be looking at the screen. I'm going to be painting. So go ahead and just, I'll hear you. I won't see any chats or anything. So just holler them out if you have any questions.
What is poppy oil?
Poppy seed oil it's like more natural. It doesn't have the scent that like liquid does or something like that. It's just a medium that thins the paint a little bit, and it actually slows the drying time. Which is why I like it. Some artists like a medium that quickens the drying time, but I like it to be a little bit slower, just so I can work with the oil a little bit longer. So yeah, it thins the paint and slows the drying time.
Where do you get it?
You can get it anywhere. I get mine at Blick. I'm not sure if like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any of those would have it. I've never really looked there. But Jerry's Artorama has it. Most like art supply stores will have it. All right, so to start off, I just use my burnt sienna and a little bit of the medium to really thin that paint, because I'm going to work with a thinner paint to start. And then I just kind of give myself a couple of starting points. I look at the 4 corners of the butterfly, and I kind of just give myself some little guidelines so that I, you know, don't have my butterfly way down here or way up here or way off to the side. I kind of want to stick to that middle and get it as, what's the word? It's not synchronized.
Canvas that you're using?
I'm on panel here, wood panel, and it is primed. So I use acrylic paint to prime it. And what you do to one side, you want to do to the other. So I generally start what I do with one side, I do to the other, just to make it as symmetrical. That's the word I was looking for earlier. As symmetrical as possible. And if I'm going too fast, just let me know. Or if I don't explain something well enough, let me know. Sometimes I have a hard time multitasking. So if I'm like, explaining something mid-sentence and then I just stop talking, which does happen when I'm painting. Just say, hey, can you explain that again? All right, so I kind of look at the 2 different, make sure they're, you know, somewhat the same. They don't have to be perfect at this stage. We will keep drawing as we go. I'm going to move on to the bottom. And I like to work mostly with straight lines. I'm not doing those curves. I know there are a lot of curves in this butterfly, but straight lines are going to get you a more accurate shape. You can see that right there. I can see that that's off just slightly. So when I make a mistake or need to fix a drawing, I just use a paper towel. And with the panel is really nice. You can just kind of wipe it out really, really easily. Let's come up. One trick that I use, I have a mirror behind me. I know you guys can't see that, but you guys can probably see it in the screen better than I can. Sometimes my eyes don't pick up on drawing errors or things like that as quickly as I'd like. So I have a mirror behind me where I will just check behind me every once in a while and make sure that the drawing is still looking good. Any drawing errors will pop out in that mirror. And I'm off my guidelines just slightly, but that's okay. A little bit smaller than I anticipated, but I actually like it better. I'm gonna leave it. All right, at that point, I'm gonna make sure that it's somewhat symmetrical. I see that this one is still slightly smaller, so I'm gonna make that one slightly bigger. And that's close enough for now. Like I said, I will continue drawing as I go. All right. I'm going to start with my darkest darks, which is this really dark. It's a kind of a cool brown. It's like almost a purpley brown, like a black almost. So I'm going to mix my dark, which is I'm going to take some burnt umber and some ultramarine blue. And that makes a really cool dark, almost like a black. Again, using that poppy seed oil just to thin it slightly because it's going to be a little thinner here. And I'm just blocking in these shapes. So those big shapes that I see that are the dark, that's what I'm blocking in here. And again, going one side at a time and squinting. Squinting is key to everything. Like if you paint anything at all or draw or whatever, squinting is the name of the game. So if you learn one thing from me tonight, it's squinting. That's the most valuable tool. Helps you to see values and shapes much better than just your natural eye. I'm just trying to get these shapes similar. The hard thing about butterflies is that they are so symmetrical, so painting them is tricky. I'm curious, what all I know you guys are in art clubs, so you all are artists. What all do you guys like to paint? Are you landscape artists or figurative? A little bit of all of the above.
We just made a exhibition, virtual exhibition for the library, and we just talked about it, that how all the members have varied experience and they have varied subject matters. So they paint landscape, people, portrait, I mean, you name it, and all kinds of medium, and it was wonderful to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I just wanted to know that, like, what brush do you use? Is it like one brush only? Or?
I generally stick to 1 to 2 brushes. I don't vary my brushes a ton. I like flat brushes. So I generally will use a flat, let's see, I don't know if you guys can see that. This is a number 4 or 2, I think. I think it's covered by paint, but I just get them at Blick. This is a smaller one. I think it's a 4. I think a 2 is even smaller. Just a flat, I believe it's a synthetic. I generally don't paint with real hairs. It's just it's a like thing for me. So I like the synthetics just because they're a little bit smoother, almost like watercolor brushes. If any of you are watercolorists, they're really smooth brushes like that.
You can go to Sunnyvale Art Club and see our virtual work.
Oh, awesome.
Facebook, it's actually Sunnyvale Art Group.
Okay, and you guys are in California, right?
Right.
Cool, okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'd love to see some of your work.
Where are you based at?
I'm in Salt Lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be very cold there.
Yeah, it's it's starting to get cold. Starting to get cold. It's been nice this week, but yeah, we've already had a couple of snowfalls, so it's a little chilly. All right. Go ahead.
I'm looking at the beautiful pictures you have on your wall, and they're mostly people, and they're fantastic. I presume you did them all.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, a lot of those are unfinished ones.
But they're
Projects
really
that
great.
I'm working on.
They're just
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really like to do people. That's probably, well, people and animals are my favorite, and I consider butterflies animals. I know they're not technically, but they're my favorite.
So do you do a lot of commissions of people? Because I think the ones that you have behind you are great.
Yes, I do a lot of commissions. I don't know if you can see part of it.
It's
That really big one right here, right behind me.
Uh-huh.
That's a commission for IHC. It's a big hospital chain out here for their nurses. It's going to be a big, like their campaign. So they're going to make posters of it and like put it in all their hospitals. Just, you know, kind of morality support for their doctors right now and their nurses that are having a hard time.
Right.
So that's been really fun to work on just because it's such a cool, it's a good cause, you know, to be able to provide some support. Like I can't go to the hospital and do anything because I'm not a doctor, but if I could just try, you know, try to lift their spirits a little bit. I realized when I was drawing, sorry, I'm not used to like demoing and talking about what I'm doing. So sometimes I get a little off, but I like to add in the shadow. I know my reference doesn't have it, but that shadow is what's going to make your butterfly pop off that page. So I like to add a shadow to my butterflies, and you can add it anywhere as long as it's consistent with your light source. I like to have it below the butterfly just to highlight the top of the butterfly, but I've had it, you know, on the side, top, bottom, you know, you name it. So, and with that
What are you
shadow,
using for the shadow?
this is just the burnt sienna,
Oh.
the same thing that I used for the drawing. I generally will do that burnt sienna first. Now this one I did fill it in because I'm going to have that shadow be burnt sienna, but normally I would just have it be an outline. I am going to also do this dark body as well. Normally I hold off on the body until the end, just so it can blend in a little bit with the colors that I'm going to have going on here. But for this guy tonight, I do want to have that body in there just so I know exactly where it's going to be.
How do you determine the color for the shadow?
I make it up. It depends. Some people will actually buy butterflies, or I have a friend of mine who paints butterflies as well, and she will actually raise the butterflies herself, which is awesome. And so she'll pose them herself and put them on, you know, when they die naturally. She doesn't kill them. She'll put them on a piece of paper and she'll light light it and do it herself. But for me, I just make it up. I generally go off of whatever my background is going to be. I do a shade of what the background's going to be. So I'll go more into the shadow when I get to that background and kind of talk about the colors that I'll use for that. All right, I'm going to start going into the blue. I like to get a base coat down first, and I start dark. So this butterfly is going to look really dark for a second, but I will lighten it up, I promise. Okay, so for that, it looks like it's a kind of warmer blue in the darks. So I'm going to go with my ultramarine blue, and I'm going to give it a little bit of this turquoise to, one, lighten it up, and also to cool it down a little bit. Give it some dimension. And generally, this is my travel palette here, or my travel easel. Normally, I have an easel that is either white or gray as the background. It's a little tricky when it's brown to see the color. But this is my plein air. When I go out and paint outside, this is what I take. So, and I wanted you guys to be able to see all that I was doing. So that's why I'm doing it on this instead of my regular easel tonight. So I'm still drawing. I'm still conscious of the shapes. There's rarely a point in time when I'm painting that I'm just like not thinking about the shape or mostly the drawing. I feel like I am constantly thinking about that drawing.
Do you generally have white background, like, or is it conscious decision?
Good question. For butterflies, I do have a white background, and normally I actually don't do a white background, so that's kind of funny. For my figures, I generally will do a gray background. For my plein air, I'll usually wipe it with like this brown and then wipe it out. So when you wipe this brown, it's going to be like a lighter. I don't know if you guys can see that. That might be very hard for you to see, but it's like a lighter version of this. So it's toned, it's not completely white, but it's a light, like a light brown. So good question. No, I usually don't work on a white ground. The only reason I do with butterflies is because they're so colorful that if I have a gray or any other color, it really takes away from the brightness of butterflies. All right, now that that's super dark, the reason I do it that dark is because, and with panel, I'm gonna take my paper towel and I just kind of wrap it around my finger like this. And I'm gonna go and do some of these details here and just wipe out the parts that are gonna be lighter, just so that I have them there for me, and they're already starting off a little bit lighter.
Do you have your poppy oil on the towel that you're wiping?
Nope, it's just a straight
Okay.
paper towel.
Okay.
Good question though, because if you find that you're not wiping up enough, like if I wanted to get this straight to white, I would have to push really, really hard. And even still, if it's still not white, I could use a little bit of the poppy oil to take up more paint.
Okay.
So you could do that if you needed to, if you needed to take up more paint. All right, now I'm gonna bring in, so that's a really warm, dark blue that I have. I'm gonna start to lighten it up and also cool it down using that turquoise and the phthalo blue. And really at this stage, it's kind of pushing and pulling the paint where I need it to go. So I'm going to be repainting a lot of the darks, repainting a lot of this. It'll look like noodling, but it's not quite noodling. Almost, but not quite. So you see, because I started on a light, that blue is automatically a little bit brighter than it would be if I went right over that darker part right there. So it's kind of just building it up at this point, one value at a time, going dark to light. And I'm still going one wing at a time. So when I do one-to-one wing, I come over and look at the other wing. They're not going to be perfect. I'm not going to do the exact same thing to both wings, but with butterflies, they are pretty similar. So I'm going to try to, if I do one thing, see if I need to do it to the other side as well. And I'm curious, Angela, did you see the Sentient Academy demo that I did on butterflies? Is that how you found me?
Yes, that's where I found you. Yes.
That's what I figured, because I was like, butterflies is a quest. I figured you probably found on that. That's funny.
Yeah. And the photo on your website, a lot of them are amazing. I like the tomato too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. And I wish I had like a thing that I do. And some people say that I do. I just don't feel like I do, but I don't know. I just like to paint everything. I want to paint it all. So I am darkening some of this dark and also redefining the shape a little bit. Starting to hone in on the shapes of my butterfly. And honestly, all my butterflies, all my paintings pretty much look like a hot mess until I can finally pull it together. So if that happens to you in your work, I realized that it's not just me. I used to think that I was like why can't it just look perfect from, you know, start to finish? And then a lot of these people that I follow and that I look up to said the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, no, you struggle with it until you're okay with it. Sometimes you struggle with it for longer than others.
If it were not for the demo, how long does it take for you to paint a butterfly?
Depends on the butterfly. I chose this one because it's a little bit easier. It doesn't have a lot of colors. It's got, you know, just a couple of colors in it. And it's an easier pattern. Generally, like I said, it depends on the butterfly. It could take anywhere from, I'd say average is like an hour and a half. Could take anywhere from an hour, 2 hours if it's a really complicated butterfly. I have done one in 20 minutes before, just if it's going well and I'm kind of in the zone and it's an easier butterfly. Take a step back often. That's a big deal, especially with butterflies. Taking a step back is huge. All right, now I want this butterfly to be a little bit more dimensional than it is in here. I can see some shades of green. I'm gonna actually accentuate those greens a little bit more than it is in the photo. Maybe not that green. Just to give it a little bit more color and more pizzazz going on, because this is kind of a simple butterfly. But I want to make sure it's got all it needs. And to lighten it up, I try to refrain from using just straight white. I will sometimes go over to the titanium, but I try to not use titanium until like the very, very end. That's why I have all these different shades of like light colors that I'll use, just because titanium white can mute a color quite a bit. So if you have one that's like a really pretty turquoise, if you add white to it, sometimes it can take that chroma out of the color.
So do you avoid putting an antenna on these?
Nope, I always put an antenna on them. I just do it at the end. It's like a very last thing that I do for these butterflies. And I'm not too worried about getting every single vein in there. I know you guys can't see this detail of it probably looks like a blur, big ball of blue on your screen, but it's got a lot of, butterflies have a lot of veins and a lot of detail in there. I don't paint each and every vein. I kind of suggest a pattern with my brush strokes, but I'm not gonna paint every single little vein that they have. I leave it pretty loose. Just because I'm more about the expression and the feeling than getting it 100% like anatomically accurate. I want it to be accurate, but it doesn't have to be like a scientific textbook accurate. Now I won't finish the butterfly until I do the background, just to see what colors and values I'm working with. Sometimes it's kind of hard with a white background. Everything looks really, really dark inside your butterfly until you get that background in there. So I get it to a point where it's okay. And get that background in there. So I think that's okay for now. It's obviously far from even close to finished, or even close to where I'd like it to be. But I've got a good starting point for when I come back. So I'm gonna switch my brush to a bigger brush. It's just a bigger flat, not too much bigger, just a little bit bigger. And since my butterfly is a very cool blue, and that black is very, very cool as well, I want to give it a warm background to pop it out. So I'm going to use that burnt sienna and quite a bit of yellow ochre. To pop that out. So I'm going back over some of my shadow. Like I said, I make the shadow bigger than it needs to be, just so I have some blending space. So I can easily blend that and not lose my shadow. And I'm actually maybe even going to move this one down slightly. So I'm just going to paint it up. And again, going dark to light. So I start with my darkest, which is going to be the shadow. And then I start to lighten it up by adding a little bit more of that yellow ochre. And even, I have a light ochre over here, but you can make this same color using titanium and ochre. And there's a difference between going fast and being precise. Sometimes I have to remember that it's important to slow down, because a lot of times paintings look like they were done super fast, and sometimes they are. But usually it's more about precision than speed. I'm using less medium at this point, using more paint, less medium. Not going to be as washy.
What is the name of the brand for the paints you're using? Is it Golden or?
Good question. I think I've got kind of a hodgepodge of various brands. I've got Sennelier. Let's see, what was the other one? What's one of my, hang on, let me look at it. I mainly use Sennelier, Winsor Newton, and Blick, just the regular Blick. It's kind of like not economies, kind of. They're a little bit cheaper than like Winsor Newton or Sennelier is probably on the upper end, but they do have some colors that other places just don't have. And I can type that name in the chat when we're done because it's a French word, and so it's got a weird spelling. So if you'd like, I'd be more than happy to type that.
Yeah, would love to.
Got it. All right, so some of my shadows got a little bit obliterated, but that's okay. You can always come back and darken them up, which I probably will. I'm going to get some of those light up here though. So this is going to be my lightest part, so I'm going to get that in there. And I generally don't go all the way out to the edges. I leave it kind of unfinished. I just like that look. That's a personal preference. Even on my figures, I can grab a figure in a minute to show you, but I leave them unfinished as well on the edges. And I am blurring my edges a little bit too. Again, I don't know if you can see that on there. But when I come up to that butterfly, the wings, the sides, I'll blur it slightly. So I'll just go slightly over it. And I'll blur those edges even more towards the end. And I use my super cool tool. That tool is like a game changer for me, so I'm excited to show you guys. It's been a fun thing to use. Now with my background too, I'm also defining the edges of my shadow here. So my shadow is a little bit obliterated, so I'm going to come back and kind of get those edges in there with the light.
It's over. Do you need the computer?
Mary, are you asking questions?
How nice the light is. What I didn't understand. Oh, wait. I think I'm muted.
And if I'm going too fast, let me know. Tell me to slow down. Sometimes, you know, I like get in the zone and I just start going. So let me know if I need to slow down, or if I do something, you're like, whoa, 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 what was that?
You are fine. It's like popping up.
And as I go out towards the edges, I just start lightening it up. So I use either one of my lighter colors over here, or I'll use titanium to lighten it, just because this is going to be probably my lightest light. And with these outside strokes, you want to be really careful not to noodle. You want to make sure that the stroke is where you intend it to be. So for example, this little part right here, I actually kind of like that. So I'm going to try to leave that. If I overwork it, you'll be able to tell it's overworked And it's better to have an more unfinished painting than an overworked painting. At least for me, that's my preference. And I've heard a lot of other artists say the same thing in their own work too. They'd rather have it unfinished than overworked.
Is that canvas paper that you're painting on, or?
It's a wood panel.
Oh, okay.
So it's primed with an acrylic white gesso.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just a wood panel there. All right, going back to my butterfly, because he needs a lot of work, poor thing. I'm gonna darken some of these darks. I'm sorry, my easel is a little unsteady, so I'm sorry if that's like giving you some motion sickness. And this is where I want to be really careful with my details, because I don't want to I want to be very deliberate with my strokes here. Keep back in some things that got obliterated by the background. And even there's one wing that's still slightly bigger than the other one. So I'm going to come back in with, actually I need more paint. Hang on one sec. This side is slightly bigger than this side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I can see it in my mirror. So coming back with my shadow, I can kind of redefine that wing, redraw it in, make it a little bit smaller. I'm also going to darken my shadow slightly. I feel like that while I do like the kind of iridescence that burnt sienna has, I would like parts of my shadow to be just a little bit darker. So I'm using some of that burnt umber to come in and just darken some of the parts of that shadow. I don't have to go over every single part. But some of those shadows I would like just slightly darker. All right, now we're getting back to the interior of the butterfly. I'm grabbing a little bit of this. This is an emerald green. You can also get like a vibrant green. It's just a very like potent, very in-your-face green. It really helps to brighten a lot of highlights. That green is very, very bright.
You happen to know what brand that emerald green is? Because it's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's a Michael Harding. Michael Harding, Harding.
And do I get that at Dick Blick or?
That one is kind of a specialty. So Michael Harding makes his paints by hand. They're handmade.
If I go online, can I find Michael Harding?
Yeah, if you search Michael Harding, you should be able to find it. You can get it on some platforms like I believe Jerry's Artorama carries it.
Okay, because it's a really gorgeous green.
It is. It's very, very versatile too. It's I use it a lot of times in flesh tones.
Okay.
And in butterflies, obviously. It's a great color. And on top of, so if you have something really warm and you use this green with a little bit of titanium white, which is a very cold green and cold white, it's going to make that highlight pop. Yes. So if you're having something that you can't get quite white enough,
right,
like, you know, a highlight on a face or a white fur, like on a dog or something, if you use that as a highlight, it really just makes it pop.
I haven't seen a green that gorgeous. So I'm going to try Michael Harding first. And
Yeah,
then I
it's
can try
beautiful.
Gary's Rambo. I've been trying to find a vibrant green like that.
It's a good one. I recommend it. I use it a lot. And there are substitutes that you can get for that. I haven't tried any. I've always just done this emerald green, but like I said, I know some other artists use like a vibrant green, I want to say. I don't know the name exactly,
Well,
but
it might be good in seascapes. I love seascapes, and I'm thinking that that would be very good.
yes, it would be beautiful in a seascape. Okay, I feel like I'm noodling because I'm like just, yeah. So I'm going to kind of obliterate it slightly. But yes, this green would be absolutely gorgeous in like it looks like seafoam green. Like that's what the name of it should be. So I'm blending some of these slightly, just because I feel like I was getting a little too attached to some of these details in this butterfly, and I don't want to get that attached. I want it to blend a little bit more. So kind of obliterating it slightly, and I'll come back and add. Can you tell the difference between, I don't know if you guys can see that. My screen is super tiny, so I can't tell what you guys can see and what you can't, but the difference between that side and that side,
Right.
do you see that? So this one has a lot of the chunky colors, and this one has the obliterated. And that's a great tool to use. When I was in college, my professor, if I was struggling with a piece, especially figures, because figures are so hard, and I was having a really hard time, he'd come and just take his paper towel and wipe the whole thing, just like one swipe, and it just blurs everything. And then you can kind of see, oh, okay, I was on the right track. I just was getting too caught up into all the colors and all the, you know, the different values and shapes and all that. So it's a great tool to use, kind of obliterate things. You don't have to obliterate it completely. You don't have to take your paper towel and just go over it, but just slightly blur some of those edges, and I promise you, you'll have it come out a little bit more than you think. You'll be doing better than you think you would. And Angela, let me know how we're doing on time. I'm sorry, I haven't been keeping track of that. So
Don't worry, we still have 13 minutes left.
Okay. Did you say 30 or 13?
13.
Okay.
1, 3.
Okay, I was like 30 minutes. Wow, I feel like I've been doing it longer than that. But... Okay.
How many butterflies have you painted?
Kind of a lot. I don't know a number per se. The beginning of COVID, I did a butterfly promotion just because, you know, when the quarantine first happened, everyone was feeling very cocooned and, you know, isolated, and I wanted to spread hope and joy, and it was around Mother's Day. It was in May. And so I did a promotion where I painted 50 butterflies, and they were all for sale in one weekend. And it was amazing. They all sold out within the first day. So it was crazy. But it was fun. And I did it, you know, again, to spread joy and to show that we're going to be fine through all this. You know, it's a crazy time, but like the butterfly, we'll come out stronger and better than ever. But also I did it because I wanted to practice for colors, because butterflies are the best color practice that you can do, honestly.
Did you have live butterflies? What did you go by?
I just did pictures.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just pictures, which live butterflies are way better. I don't know if you guys can see this. Maybe I'll grab it. This butterfly back here, this one's one of my favorites, so I kept it. This one was done from life. I don't know if you can see that. And doing it from life, you can just see way more of the detail and the anatomy and the color. Sometimes pictures just don't do butterflies justice. So I would recommend, if you can do it from life, do it from life. But not all of us, you know, can get live butterflies. So I did it just from pictures.
Do you have one wing a little bit smaller than the other? Did you?
Yeah, I do. I saw that too. This wing is bigger than this one. And I will sometimes have that, especially if I'm kind of, you know, not concentrating all that well.
Could you just use dark and make it even?
Yeah, so what I probably would do in my own studio is I would make this one smaller because I like this side better.
Oh,
so
okay. So you make it smaller, but
I would make it smaller.
Go over the dark.
What?
Wouldn't it be hard to go over the dark wing?
Not necessarily, especially since it's on the side here. What I would do, and actually I'll just do it to show you real quick.
Okay, I love it.
What I would do is bring the shadow up.
Okay.
So I'm bringing that shadow right here, and I'm just going to bring it up into my butterfly.
Okay.
And it will make my shadow a little bit darker.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay, especially because this shadow is a little bit lighter anyway. I can always lighten up that shadow if I need to. But yeah, that's what I would do. I'd bring a shadow and bring it in. You see how that made that?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I actually like that better anyway. But I'll show you what I do. If I have wings that are different sizes and then I don't have time or there's nothing I can do to change it, I have a little trick at the end. Like I said, that's the hardest part about butterflies is that they are so symmetrical. And so if you do have slightly off, you'll be able to tell. Well, that's kind of hard about butterflies. And like I said, you guys can probably see it better than I can because screens pick up way more than your eye can. So sometimes as a little trick, I will even take a picture with my camera, like my phone, and that will show me immediately where I'm off. Like if one side's bigger than the other, if...
Well, I'm so glad you said that because I do that all the time.
It's a great trick. Yeah. So you're already, you're great. You're doing that. Mirrors are great too, but I really like the camera because it just, I don't know how, it's like magic maybe, but it just shows you exactly where you're off. But usually when I leave the studio, I will take a picture of whatever I'm working on. And then, you know, that night I'll just kind of study it and see where I need to come back and fix things. Okay, the most important thing, finishing up here, is to get the contrast. So where do I need to push my darks a little darker and where do I need to push my lights a little lighter? And that's what's really going to make your paintings stand out. So I'm going to bring these highlights on his or her, I don't know what it is, little wing. One of these accents here. And I feel like my dark is pretty dark, but there are a few places where I probably could darken that up slightly. But I made it more brown, so now it's going to lighten it. There we go. And make sure there is paint on your paintbrush when you're trying to paint something, because if you have a dry paintbrush, it'll take it off. So if I have a dry paintbrush here, it'll take up my paint instead of put it on. So watch out for that. It's a great tool if you want to do that. Like if I had a part that, you know, I needed to make a little lighter, you come in with just a straight paintbrush. All right. There are a few spots that I'm going to lighten in the background. So this is where I use my titanium, and I'm kind of heavy-handed with it. And I don't blend a ton with these highlights. I try to leave them. If you overuse highlights, everything just gets a little bit too light. And all your values kind of blend together, and then it's all your hard work has gone down the drain. It may look like I'm doing it fast, but it's more so just precise. Just want to be precise on that. And sometimes I will use just straight white to get it as white as I need to. Okay. Now I look and make sure everything is blended where I want it to be. Everything is colored where I want it to be. There's one little blue tick right here that I want to be a little bit bigger. Everything's kind of where it should be. Now this actually, I'm gonna blend this slightly because that's kind of bugging me. This is where I'll step back, make sure it looks okay. Even a little bit more. So this is where I'm coming in with just no paint on my brush, blending that a little bit. Okay, now here's my secret trick. How are we doing on time, Angela? Am I over?
You're good. We have 5 minutes left.
Okay, so my secret trick. Now, my friend who also paints butterflies, she uses her palette knife to do this, where she'll kind of like make a little tick mark and obliterate it, which you can totally use a palette knife. It does pretty much the same thing. But I like to use these little rubber, it's like a rubber, and it's really hard to see because I have this really small one here. I don't think I have a bigger one to show you, but, and this is all dirty. So it's usually like a eraser pink is what it kind of looks like. And you can get them at any supply store. They're going to be in the printmaking section though. So they're not technically tools for artists, but or for oil painters or acrylic painters, but they are a great tool. So this is going to be my kind of my, I don't know if I would even call it my smearer maybe. And I'm going to see which side. Yeah, I think I want to obliterate this side, although I'm not entirely sure. Maybe not. I might obliterate this side actually. So if there's a wing that's bigger than the other, that's the side that I'll usually kind of swipe. And what I'll do is you can just swipe straight through. So without anything on it, if I just kind of swipe, it just obliterates it, which is, you know, that's kind of cool. I might leave that. But you can also get some paint on it. So if I take that, that turquoise that I've been using, and I'm going to do it like right here. You can put paint down with it as well. I'm going to do that a little bit more. Now, I won't lie to you, using this is a little scary at first because you're obliterating. You're like, oh no, it's going to totally mess up my entire painting. What am I going to do? But they're fun once you kind of get the hang of them. Now, the nice thing too is that if I did that too much and I was like, oh man, I really liked that one part of the wing and now it's obliterated, I can always come back in and paint it in. So say I wanted to, you know, paint back in part of that wing, I can always do that. So don't be scared of the squishy thing. I don't even know what it's called. Curve block or something like that. Don't be too scared of it. You can also do it with your paintbrush too. So let's say I wanted to smear the background into my butterfly instead of the butterfly into the background. I can just grab part of the background and just kind of swipe it in. And that just blurs the edge slightly. You could even put some paint on it if you really want to blur it. and swipe it in. And you can do that with the thing as well, or the palette knife, whatever you want to do. But edges are where you're going to get the kind of nuance. That's where you're going to get like the emotion. So I'm going to use my little thing because I like using this guy. Don't go too crazy with this thing because you can overdo it for sure. Sometimes I'll just do it for the background. See how that automatically lightens that background? So if I need like maybe I'll just do it right here. If I need a stroke that's just going to be lighter in that background, you can use this to lighten things. Yeah. So it's a great tool. I like it a lot. Does anyone have any questions on this bad boy? Okay, I think that's close to where I'd probably leave it. This is where I would come back in. I may even do a slight shadow underneath the head of my little butterfly. So it's just a slight shadow there. I may even also, oh, I totally forgot. Another big thing is the highlights in the body. Totally forgot to do that. Like I said, multitasking is not my strong point, so I apologize, guys. In the body, this guy has a lot of green in the body, which will accentuate kind of that green that I've got going on as highlights in his wings. So I'm just going to quickly put in some of these highlights in his body, and that will really make his torso stand out above his wings, because he's kind of blending in a little bit right now. So I'm going to darken up parts of the body of his torso that are really, really dark. And then using that emerald green. Oh, it's a little too much white. And that body's a little bit, that highlight's a little bit too big. Tone it down just a little bit. And I feel like those dots are a little too perfectly close together, so blend them slightly. And I may even do on his belly kind of this tan to kind of tie in the tan a little bit with the background. And I may do a little. All right, in the interest of time, I'll go on, but I would probably spend a little bit more time on his torso there, just blending it, maybe even adding in a little bit of this like phthalo green to kind of make that torso pop a little bit. Tone that back just slightly. So like I said, it's a lot of push and pull of the paint. Like sometimes it'll be like, oh, that's too light, or oh, that's too dark. All right, and then for the, sorry, I gotta get that highlight on there. For the antennas, I just use that same color that I used for, for his wings, that dark, almost black. And I just very carefully use the tip of my brush and I just touch it. So it's not, takes a very steady hand, but, and a lot of practice. So it's just a very, because their antennas are so delicate and so tiny that if I went pretty heavy-handed here, wouldn't quite get that delicacy of how just tiny and fragile this little butterfly is. But I do make sure to put the antennas on them. First, it just bugs me if they don't have antennas on them. I don't know why. Like a principal thing for me. All right, so I would probably call that about done. I could probably sit here and find things all night, but I will call that done for now. I'm gonna take it down and show you guys a little bit more up close. All right. So I don't know if you can see the detail. Sorry, the lighting in my studio isn't great at night, so can you guys see that okay? Okay.
You can see a lot of layers.
Yeah, so it's a lot of textures that I have going on, and so you can see like kind of where I did the you guys can't really see that texture all that much, but where I did the little swipey thing. And see how it looks a little bit better. I think probably one of those wings is still slightly bigger than the other, but with the swipey thing on this guy, you can't really tell that they're not the same, perfectly the same size. So it's kind of maybe a little bit cheating, but but I like the way it looks too. So that's another reason I'll do it. Even if I made a perfect butterfly and they were perfectly the same size, I'd probably still use the thing just because I like the way it looks. So yeah.
How do you clean your brushes? With what do you clean your brushes?
I usually put them, so at the end of the night, I'll wipe them off really, really well with my, my paper towel. I wipe them off really, really good. And then I'll put them in either walnut oil, let them soak overnight in walnut oil, or walnut oil is kind of expensive. And I've found that it's basically the same thing, just much cheaper if you get baby oil. Does the exact same thing. And you can just get that at the grocery store. So I just let them sit in baby oil overnight, and that kind of gets the paint out of the bristles a little bit. And then I'll wash it with soap and water, usually just Dawn dish detergent. Gets the oil paint out really, really well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Heather. The butterfly is really beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I know it's kind of hard with Zoom, so I hope you were able to see everything that I was doing. Sorry.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And there was something I was going to write in the chat. I don't remember what it was. Was it the Sennelier brand?
Yes.
Okay. I believe it's 2 ends. It might be 1 end. 1 end on that, but.
Are you just using a room in your house or your garage for a studio? Or do you have a separate building?
Kind of both. So it's a detached garage that I turned into a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's a garage, but but still it's a separate building in my backyard. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Now, especially in this time of sheltering in place, it's nice to have a space that's near your home. You don't have to get in the car and go somewhere.
Yeah, it is nice. It is really nice. Yeah. Although I do miss seeing people. I used to have a studio space with a bunch of other artists, and that was really fun. You know, when you're alone, sometimes motivation can be harder when you're by yourself, but so yeah, it's great. I really like it, but sometimes, miss people.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any other questions or anything else you want to see? I mean, I can show you some other stuff if you wanted.
I love your people. Can I see the one you were doing for the hospital?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm just going to take my computer. So I'm going to take you with me. I apologize if I give you a little bit of motion sickness.
Oh, I just think it's
Yeah, this one. I really want to see this one.
So this is very much in the beginning stages,
It's
as you can see, but they wanted all their different staff. They've got doctors and respiratory nurses and, you know, business people. And then this was the drawing that I did. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Mm-hmm.
fabulous.
So that's the drawing that I did initially to kind of, when they asked me to do that project, I came up with that drawing, and you know, they were like, yeah, go for it.
So these are the actual people, and then you have made the painting of that. The face is the same.
Yeah, so some of the faces are made up, just out of my head, just because I've done so many model sessions that I just like, I don't know, just think of different skin tones or different, you know, characteristics. But sometimes if I'm really stuck on something, you know, a way someone would look or something like that, I'll just Google, you know, faces or whatever. And a lot of times there's stock photos that will be similar that I can use as a reference.
Wow.
A semi-reference. I won't copy it, you know, word for word, but just as a, or sometimes I'll use like my sister or myself or something as a model. Yeah.
Thank you, Heather. We're really happy to have you here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Very fun, guys.
Learned a lot.
We learned a lot.
Yeah, and if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I'd love to see some of your work too. So I'll follow you back, and I'd love to see some of the stuff that you guys do too. So
we are just about to go through, we have a monthly competition, and the members post their own pieces of artwork. It's kind of a laid back thing, but you're welcome to stay on Zoom and you can see some of our artwork.
I would love to. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, Andrea, you can take over.
Okay.
If you're ready. Yeah.
Great. Let's see if I can figure this out. I was having problems with my video earlier, but I restarted my computer, and let's see here. Share my screen, I think. Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No? Uh-oh. Okay, go back into Zoom. Share screen. Share. Now is it working?
Yep, now it's sharing.
Oh, good. Okay, I know this Facebook is not the best way to do this, and some people, always one person every month has some problem. So if anybody can think of a better way to do this, I'd much appreciate it. But this is our last contest of the year because we don't have a meeting in December. So for the gold section, we have, let me show them all to you. I can't see the names. Okay, this is Robin Allison. Oh, here it is. Sorry, trying to figure out how to hide the meeting. There we go. Okay, Robin Allison. This is, I can't, she didn't say where it was, did she? But it's a cable car, so maybe it's San Francisco. It reminds her of the holidays. And Gita Taneja, did I pronounce that right? You're on mute, Gita.
Yeah, it's Gita Taneja.
Taneja.
Yeah.
Your piece is titled Fiesta, oil color on canvas. And this is a huge one, 5 feet by 4 feet.
Yeah, it's 5 feet by 4 feet.
Wow, that is fantastic.
It's right here.
That's amazing. Okay, the next one's from Donna Abernathy. These are probably Christmas balls. Getting ready for Christmas. And this one is from me. I'm like one of 2 abstract painters in the whole group here. And this one is another one of these paintings where I just kept painting over, and I would just paint over the last painting I did, so little pieces are shining through. That's it for the gold section. Let me get fast. Here we go. Okay, and this is what I see when you guys, when you look at the list of art pieces that you can choose from. Why can't I see this? I usually see a, I'm sorry. I usually see a nice pie chart. And
it's in summary, I think.
It's under the summary? Where the heck?
Yes, scroll up.
Yeah.
Scroll up on the page, and 11 is on their summary.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. We can't see the blue section yet. But for the gold section, Fiesta won from Gita. Yay, congratulations. And I keep forgetting to ask the winners to say something about their artwork. So Gita, would you like to share a little bit about your inspiration?
Yeah, let me bring the painting.
Wow.
It's too huge. Oh, sorry, I can't. Yeah. So it's oil on canvas, and this was actually my children. They were going for a Mexican party, and they were dressed up in the Mexican dresses. And while they were going out, I said, why don't you make a pose of a dance as if you're doing the Mexican dance? And they were mainly, you know, the hat dance, which they do it. So they made this pose, and somehow, you know, I was so impressed by it. And then later on, I said, I have to make this into a painting because the pose was so nice. So you can see, I don't know whether you can see this. So this was my son, his wife, and that's another figure which I thought about it. So it's just the, you know, happiness and, you know, the dance, the celebrations.
Nice. Such happy colors this dreary time of year.
That's beautiful.
Congratulations. So Gita, you get to hang your painting in the bean scene. And currently my painting from last month is there. So just reach out and let me know when you want to swap. My painting that's hanging there right now, I think is 3 feet by 4 feet, and it barely fit in the space. So
yeah,
we have to
fit in.
a little finagling to get yours to fit, but we'll figure it out somehow.
I can take the hammer and the nails with me, and could be that I can put it on the opposite wall.
The opposite wall is full of tiny little paintings.
Okay.
But don't worry, we'll find a spot. I'll go with you and
Thank you so much.
Sure, yeah, no problem. Okay, going back to the blue. Mary, did you ever find the folders? Mary there? I don't know if she's online. But okay, here are the blue entries, blue section. Shaheen. Somebody want to say something? Love in Disguise. That's such a beautiful painting. Jenny Tang with Street Festival in Taiwan. The watercolor. Yuen with, this one is awesome. Paddleboarding in costume, in Halloween costume on Lake Tahoe. That's, I don't know. This guy looks like a little ninja. I cannot imagine paddleboarding in costume. I would for sure end up in the water. And finally, from Chris, she didn't title it, but it's very obviously Christmas themed. Okay, let's see here. Go back to the. I scroll down. It is a three-way tie between Love in Disguise from Shaheen, Street Festival from Jenny Tang, and Halloween Spirit from you and Chen. Congratulations! So you guys get to hang your work up in the library, but the library is closed. So, and there's only one space as far as I know. Is Angelo online? Do you have any suggestions about what to do with this three-way tie in the library?
No idea. I'm not really sure.
Is there space on the wall to hang three pieces? They look like they're all pretty small.
Oh, I guess I can hang it in the library. Just nobody will be able to see it except maybe my coworkers and stuff.
Right. Well, I guess maybe we should leave it up to Shaheen, Jenny, and you, and if you guys want to hang your stuff up in the library, because like you said, the staff sees it. I guess it really comes down to whether or not there's room on the wall where the winner usually hangs their stuff.
You know, let me check and see. There, you know, near the public computers, there might be a place to hang. But let me check and see first, and I'll take a photo of the spot so you guys can see.
Okay.
And I'll send it through email.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for participating in a year full of contests. I don't know what we're gonna do next year. Find a new person to do the contest, since I'm gonna help Angela out by being VP. We'll see. Well, I guess we can deal with all that next year. We need to have a big membership drive and recruit people for some new positions, but that can happen in January.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for this year's support.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. It's been fun. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. There you go. You can have it back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So thank you, Matt. I think Matt shared this link with us. So in the chat, you can find the link to where to buy this oil paint that Heather recommended. Oops, how do I go back? Let me start sharing first.
Did anybody win bingo?
It's probably too complicated and need to multitask.
If we had paper to hang out in an in-person meeting, I think it would be definitely a fun thing to do.
Yes. Very good,
yeah.
That's actually a great idea. I love that. Like if they say during a demo, you know, bingo. That's
yeah. We have a little game, but I think next time I will share the sheet before the call so everybody can print it.
That's awesome.
Yep. Okay, so we've done monthly competition and we're going back to where we left over. So we need volunteer. First of all, I want to thank you for the volunteer of Sunnyvale Art Club. So I am honored to be the president. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. So I'm grateful for you to give me this opportunity. And Ish is not able to join us today, but she take on the secretary role to help us take some notes. Penny and Wei Wei, they're the treasurer, help us to document the expenses and help us to get reimbursed. And membership, Jenny helped starting from the year, but she has to resign. Ewan and Shaheen is doing a great job taking over this responsibility. And we have the wonderful newsletter from Mary every month. It's like a magazine now. Yeah. So we have photographer Nila help us to take photos, screenshot of the meeting and photo if we're meeting in person. And we have Andrea helping with the monthly art competition. Chris help with the exhibit venue. Angela help us with the library show. This year we don't have Santa Clara Library Show, but next year we're think about something that we can do it virtually at least. And then we have Sangeeta help us with the website management. So thank you all the volunteers. Without you, this club won't be this great. I wanted to say thank you guys, and I want to recruit new volunteers. So because Andrea is taking on the vice president responsibility next year, so we have monthly art competition. Position is open, and each take on the treasurer position. So secretary is open, and we have the Silicon Valley Open Studio. These 3 positions open. If you're interested, no experience needed. We'll train you and we'll support you whatever we can. And I think I am missing one thing here.
We are meeting on Saturday, correct?
Yes, yes. So I shared the map earlier, but I didn't know that I wasn't sharing my screen. So we're meeting at Bayland Park Saturday. It's not mandatory. If you can come, we're happy to see you. But if you cannot come because of COVID, we understand. And Mary suggested us, we'll probably not be able to use the table here, so we probably meet at the grass, and then we will bring our own chair or our own blanket. We'll sit on the ground.
Thank you.
And one last thing. I'm going to launch the poll and announce the one last thing I want to share with you. Let me launch the poll now. So we'd like to hear back from you. What do you think about the demo program? What do you think about the club? And if you can let us know what you think and where we can improve, that would be wonderful. So one last thing, how come I can't find it? Yeah. Okay, so last thing I wanted to share with you is the reward program. This is very new, so I will try to explain it, but feel free to ask questions. So what the reward program is, we wanted to invite more people to join our meeting, our group, our project, and our monthly competition. So if you sign up for the member next year, if you pay 2024 membership by next January, and then you were in this meeting, and then you participate in group art project or monthly competition, you have one chance to enter a draw. So we will use the Wheel of Name website to draw a winner who will receive $25 Amazon gift card. It'll be virtual. I will just send you Amazon gift card virtually. But in order to be qualified, you will have to be a member, and then you will need to join club meeting, and you will need to participate in one of our activities. So for example, Mary joined today's meeting and she signed up for the greeting card project. Her name will appear once when we do the draw. And Gita joined the November club meeting and she participated in January monthly competition. She's got one chance to win. And Jenny joined club meeting, signed up for the group art project and also the monthly competition in January. Her name will be entered twice. And then after the meeting, it'll be similar to monthly competition. After the meeting, I will use a website called Wheel of Name. I will enter your name here, and then we will spin and find one winner to receive the gift card. Any question? Am I going too fast?
No.
Are we going to have Vanna do the spin?
Yeah. You can do it, Angelo. You just have to put on a skimpy, sparkly
dress. Sure.
Yeah, I played with this several times. I thought it's fair. Whoa.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
Yep. So I wanted to thank everybody joining today's meeting, and thanks Heather giving us this wonderful demo. And everybody, I wish everybody a happy holiday, and we won't have meeting in December. So you will receive a January meeting invitation from me by end of the month. So take care, and Jay and Mary, we will stay to discuss the group art project, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, and whoever interested to shape the next group project, you can feel free to stay. If not, you all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.